fun to be here. This is my first SaaStock. I've had a great few days speaking with partners, potential partners, customers, and even have gotten to meet some of the ActiveCampaign team for the first time in person. I'm thrilled to be here today to talk about product-led growth, but really about fostering a culture of curiosity and experimentation to figure out what version of product-led growth works best for you. We've been on a journey in the last year or so at ActiveCampaign, sort of returning to our roots of product-led growth. As a small company 10 years ago, there was a lot that worked for us. We were very engaged with customers. Everyone was customer-facing, and our product was the way in which we interacted with everyone. As we scaled, we introduced a lot of barriers, and we realized last year we're playing a game that isn't ours, and we should go back to what works. And so we're on a journey back to product-led growth, and I've been happy to lead some of that. ActiveCampaign is a sales and marketing automation platform that serves growing businesses of all verticals, all sizes, helping automate, orchestrate personalized customer experiences. I lead the product org, which includes product marketing, design, enablement, customer research, advocacy, customer marketing, and we have just been on this tremendous journey to find what version of BLG works best for us. I've had roles in the customer org, sales org, and so I've been really excited to sort of lead from a company standpoint what this looks like. I want to start off that there is not one-size-fits-all framework, checklist for how to do PLG. Your company, your customers, your market, your team is different than any other company, and so the way in which you'll implement and think about PLG will be truly unique. I think that's fun, but also challenging. There are some boundaries, though. There are some things that are true with BLG companies, and so we use them as guides. One, everyone can experience the value of your product before buying. The product comes to the top of the funnel, and it drives everyone through the funnel. Two, there is a spectrum and balance between self-serve and sales. Not every PLG company is all self-serve, and certainly not every PLG company is all sales-led, but there is a balance there that every company has to figure out what makes sense and what are we comfortable with. And then thirdly, it's my belief that every PLG company is customer-led. They are deeply engaged with customers. Their customers inform them of their priorities, what's important, what pain points to solve, and they find more and more ways to get deeper with the customer even as they scale instead of further away. But these are all levers. These are all things to play with. I loved that Eli before me talked about playing with levers because this is, again, no one-size-fits-all. And so to approach this with experimentation is really important. Not everything will work. Some things will work. And those are really exciting to sort of double down into. And so I want to talk about some ways we've played with these, ways that we found success and failure in those different levers. So experiencing the product before buying. Your product is now the face of your company. Your product is your brand, and everything starts with the product. And so the way in which your product drives awareness, activation, acquisition, conversion, expansion, retention, your product is the medium that drives everyone through that customer lifecycle. There's lots of ways to express value before someone buys. There have been a couple talks even in this conference of how people have switched from one to the other and things that they've learned. Again, this is a game. Freemium. We have a competitor, HubSpot. Many of you are probably aware of them. They have a free CRM product, free forever. Their customers never have to pay for it. It is lightweight. It is valuable. And the hope is someone finds enough value out of it and they want even more, that they'll expand into our paid product. we tried a freemium 10 years ago. The difference is that our value is automation, sophisticated, robust automation. To give that in a forever free product felt a little bit like undervaluing what we were really offering to the market. But to remove it from the free product is almost like, well, no one's experiencing the value then. They're getting this lightweight solution, and there's no idea of what's on the paid plan if automation isn't part of it. And so we moved to a free trial model about 10 years ago. We have a 2-week trial. We still made it frictionless, no credit card required, you're not auto-converted, but we feel really confident in that 2-week trial because our customers can activate really quickly. They can get in, they can get their contacts in, they can automate, they can turn it on, often way before that 14-day mark, and so customers convert before. A lot of companies won't have that activation time frame. Theirs is longer, maybe there's more implementation. I still think there's really interesting ways that you can get people experience in your product without maybe a limited free trial or potentially undervaluing what you offer. So lots of companies do demos on the site, videos. You can sort of see a baked use case and how it would look. Airtable's doing really interesting things with entire apps that are every single view that you could possibly want, and you sort of see how it would work for different use cases, different verticals. I've even seen platforms that are bringing like builders onto their website builders, landing page builders. You can now build pages and landing pages on the site. You're not even an account yet. You're not a user. You're just playing on the site. And so really interesting ways to express the value before customers have to pay. Again, I think you should think about what value are you bringing to the market? What are you comfortable giving away for free, potentially forever? If you're not, what might a time frame limit look like? And are you confident in that activation time? Secondly, when we started on our journey back to our roots, there was a lot of fear of, oh my gosh, is sales irrelevant? Is sales useless? What happens to sales? I think BLG allows sales to find even more impact, to go to the really hard opportunities that need relationship, objection handling, negotiation, true effort to move that opportunity to close. We learned this the hard way as we scaled our team, especially our sales team. They kept saying more leads, and we were like, yes, more leads, and we just gave them everything, usually trial accounts. What we found is that these trial accounts were high intent. They were using the trial, and they maybe had like one question. They were like, how does this work? And we were like, I see your question. We're going to now enter you into a 20-step sales motion with all of these meetings and these handoffs. Thank you for your question. We were forcing our customers into a motion that they weren't asking for. They had one question, and we were forcing it into sales. And so as we looked at what is this balance between self-serve and sales, we created a customer activation team. This is very different than an SDR or a BDR. They have one goal, one job. Prospects have questions. Their job is to answer them in the product and get them activated. Now, of course, if a complex deal comes in or a large opportunity, they pass it to sales, but their job is not quota carrying. It's not how many dials they did that day. It's not how many passes. Their job is questions and answers to get people activated in the product. We've seen massive growth with this and trial conversions, but also just on not forcing our customers through a motion that they didn't need. They're going to close on their own. They had a question in the trial. They got answered. They closed. So really interesting balance between what's self-serve and what's sales. What this has provided an opportunity into is now our sales team is heavily focused on going and finding new ARR that isn't in our funnel. They have moved more to an outbound model. How do we go find people that are not aware of us and get them interested while we allow product and the cat team, they meow whenever you say cat. It's very unsettling. But the cat team, to close those deals self-serve. Lastly, again, product-led companies are customer-led. I think thinking about how influential your customers are to what you're doing with your product is critical. And now are your product teams engaging with your customers? Again, as we scaled, we just kept introducing more and more and more barriers. I had PMs reading reports of what was happening in tickets and what questions were. Earlier this year, we had all of the product org start spending every other week 2 hours in level 1 support, not shadowing, not watching someone answer tickets, but actively answering questions that their customers had and feeling a sense of ownership to have the answer. This has built such a level of empathy that I've seen roadmaps slightly tweaked where PMs will now say, ooh, we really need to fix this error messaging, or we need to fix this help documentation, or I really want to solve this question that comes up every single time I am answering tickets, and they are prioritizing those pain points above maybe shiny new features or things that they've been thinking about that would be net new, and that empathy has grown deeper and deeper and deeper over the months. Secondly, earlier this year, we introduced our inaugural customer advisory board, 15 power users, partners, direct accounts that are experts in our customers and our market. We're doing this a little differently. This is not a GAB that meets every quarter and steak dinners with the executive team. This GAB is directly engaged with our product teams on backlog items. Is this valuable? Should it be prioritized? Does this messaging make sense? What are we missing? So they are working day in and day out with product design, product marketing, and engineering on the value of our roadmap. So we're not necessarily talking 3-year, 5-year strategic vision, but we are talking daily choices that will impact us in 5 years. This has been twofold. A, we're getting deeper customer feedback than we've ever had, but also these GAB members are going to the market and saying, I get to tell ActiveCampaign product teams what's important. This is amazing. They listen to their customers. They drive this customer sentiment that we are empathetic and customer-led throughout the market. I think what's critical to me is that product-led growth is one facet of a product-led company, and the transformation to a product-led company really thinks about now does everyone in the company know the product, know the customer, and engage with the customer and with the product. This is really difficult, especially as you scale. You might have teams that never have engaged directly with the customer, have never touched the product, and they might say, I've never done that in previous jobs. Why is that important? Again, when we think about when we were a 20-person team and everyone was customer-facing, there was such an engagement and a knowledge that permeated every decision. How might this process work? What would this team do? It was defined by the value we would be providing to the customer. And I think this is critical to success for all companies, is to maintain that in some way. We just created an internal enablement team that is chartered with certifying every person at ActiveCampaign on the product, the customer, and the market. Everyone will go through training, ongoing training, to learn how to use the product, what customers are talking about, and what's going on in the market. And I have tremendous conviction that this will drive way more success throughout the org than anything else could. So again, just as a reminder, PLG is not the same everywhere. Your PLG will look different than anyone else's, but the levers are yours to play with. How do people experience your product? What value do you want to offer them before conversion? PLG does not mean sales doesn't exist. What is that balance between self-serve and sales-led? What does that handoff look like? Does it make sense? Are you forcing people into a motion that they don't want to go through? And then how do you continue to drive customer engagement, customer involvement in what you're thinking about prioritizing and building? And then that transformation to a product-led company, I think, is really the key to all of the massively successful companies I've seen. They are deeply connected to their product and their customer in all functions. So with that, thank you. Happy to take any questions.
All right, we're going to do a little Q&A. Excellent.
Hi, that was great. Thank you. I'm curious about the customer advisory board. How did you put that together? I'm just curious, kind of like the framework y'all use, or like the platform, and how you recruited the users. Like, could you just speak more about that?
Yeah, of course. So we have a customer programs and insights team that is really responsible for like all incoming feedback. So they had awareness of customers that have really good feedback that are very in tuned. We also solicited nominations from our customer org. So if account managers and CSMs knew, wow, we have this customer that constantly gives really good feedback, is super engaged, we solicited nominations. We took that list, we met with a bunch of them, we tried to get an understanding of what is their level of knowledge of market, customer, and product, what areas do we have a good balance, and then ultimately is it a diverse and equitable board. And so our CPI team took ownership of that, but really solicited names from all of the company.
That was great, by the way. Thank you. You mentioned you have an outbound sales team that's chasing down activities or accounts that maybe aren't in the funnel. So what happens once an outbound sales rep maybe finds an opportunity, starts working with them, they're pushed back over, and now they start a free trial? Then does it go back into the traditional funnel segment, and your customer activation is working that? How does that work?
That rep owns it. If that rep found it, they own it. They're close, so they should be deeply engaged with what are you doing in the trial, what use cases are you opening up, but they own it through conversion.
And with the ICP on that, is it more focused on like enterprise accounts that warrant an outbound sales motion, or?
I would say not enterprise, so we are mostly SMB mid-market. I would say they're looking for companies that have mature marketing or sales functions, that have used platforms maybe down market and are looking for more sophistication, more robustness. So not enterprise, but definitely slightly up market than what would come in inbound.
Cool, thank you.
I think there was, yeah, you want to say? Right there, no. Excellent.
Are you guys using AI right now for customer feedback?
For what?
Customer feedback.
We are not. So right now, we are using AI for generative content in the platform, and we're thinking about how AI enables our customers to do their jobs quicker, faster, moving their cognitive load up to higher impact tasks. We have not yet started looking at how AI can help our own customer experience with our service, help documentation, chats, things like that. But and that will probably parallel path pretty quickly.
Sounds like a drift conversation, maybe.
Yeah.
Scott. Excellent, great. Wonderful. Any other questions? One more. I think we got time. Oh, okay. Yes, you in the back.
Hey, thanks so much for the talk. Quick question. You said that the sales team went from getting fed a bunch of inbound leads to not. Can you just talk through what that organizationally was like?
Painful. It was painful, but we really thought about, we have sales members that are deeply product knowledgeable. A lot moved into our GAT team, so a lot moved into now thinking about activation and solving customer problems, and then many moved into an outbound motion that we knew was going to take some time to get ramped. So they've been figuring out what that looks like. Each month is pretty much doubling in closes, but I think that team had to know it was going to be a bit of a slower start, but it was painful to switch that model pretty abruptly.
Excellent. I think we had one more right up here in the front as well. Yeah, he's bringing the mic to you in 1 second. All right. Getting some exercise today.
For upselling existing customers, have you seen that you can do all of that through PLG and you still don't need the sales team? or does it just completely depend? Can you maybe speak to how PLG has helped with the upsell process?
Yeah, I would say we certainly have ideas of product qualified leads that we use to send to sales. I would say those probably weren't operationalized in the best way, and so we have just resulted in, let's let the product drive that. We're doing some experimentation with our growth team on how to do more of that. But I would say sales is not necessarily thinking about a cross-sell motion right now.
Excellent. That helpful? Wonderful. Hey, give a round of applause. Kelly, thank you so much.
Yeah,
Awesome
thank you.
session.